Howdy folks, Banjo Dan here with another installment of the Eclectic Banjo. My fan mail has recently revealed some growing concerns that I'd like to address on this video. Dear Banjo Dan, where's your banjo? All I see you playing nowadays is a miniature guitar. Dear Banjo Dan, your channel's not called Eclectic Ukulele, it's called Eclectic Banjo. What gives? And this piece of mail just flew in. Dear Banjo Dan, a banjo without a Dan is like a pick without a tooth. It's true, there does seem like there are more ukulele-oriented videos being produced by the prestigious channel lately. Maybe I can shed some light on the matter, or maybe I can even assuage my valued watchers that the differences between the two instruments are not as great as one might think. For the next few minutes, I'll talk about the construction and main features of each instrument, then play songs and popular playing methods for comparisons. Like the banjo, the ukulele is fun to say, which approximately means jumping flea in Hawaiian. Hawaiians say ukulele, and so do ukuleleists, so that's what I'm going to go with as well. For the construction, like a banjo, an ukulele has a headstock, tuning pegs, nut, neck, strings, and a bridge area, as well as a body. You can also find both instruments with pickups to plug it into an amplifier, though this is less common in bluegrass banjos that come with a resonator. Like a banjo, ukuleles commonly come in a high G string next to their lowest bass string. This enables banjo players going to an ukulele to retain a familiar roll pattern with their finger picking. Or the ability to play clawhammer style on either instrument. It's worthy to note that the sound difference between the two instruments are a culmination of many factors. First, an instrument's standard tuning affects which keys are easiest to play in. Ukulele songs are most commonly played in the key of C major. The tuning of an ukulele is like that of a guitar if the two bass strings were removed and a capo was added to the 5th fret. The ukulele's strings, when played in open position, are C4, E4, G4 on the top, and then A4 on the bottom. Each instrument is a different vehicle in which to deliver sound. An ukulele is made almost entirely of wood, a sound hole in the body, and nylon strings, whereas the banjo is made up of wood and metal with a drum type head and steel strings. How the instrument is played can affect the sound output as well. I prefer to pick the nylon strings of the ukulele with my fingertips, but it's more comfortable for me to use finger picks on the steel strings of the banjo. Ukuleles are 4-stringed instruments, but can be found in 5- and 6-string models. Whether or not they can be called ukuleles at that point is up for debate. Like banjos, ukuleles come in a variety of sizes with different scale lengths and number of frets. ranging from tiny sopranos measuring around 20 inches in length, a 13-inch scale, and 12 frets, to full-bodied basses measuring around 32 inches in length, 20-inch scales, and 21 frets. Unlike banjos, ukuleles are lightweight instruments. They're usually only 1.5 to 3 pounds. They are by far way more portable to that of a banjo, but at the cost of less volume capacity. While there are 4- and 6-string banjos out there, the type of banjo most like a 4-string ukulele, such as this tenor one or these soprano ones back here, is a 5-string banjo, one that has a shortened 5th string. Banjos are fairly heavy instruments due to their metallic pot assembly construction and added resonator on the back. Banjos weigh between 9 to 12 pounds on average, and for this reason, it is highly recommended that a shoulder strap always be worn. By comparison, one could wear 6 to 12 of these tiny soprano ukuleles on their body for every one banjo. Unlike the ukulele, which can come in soprano, concert, tenor, baritone, and bass type sizes, the banjo typically only comes in one size for the 5-string. They're typically about 3 foot in length, with 22 frets and a scale length of around 26 inches. Because of the much larger neck on a banjo, one should consider their hand size and the distance between frets. Down the neck, the frets are farther apart, and as you go up the neck, the fret spacing becomes smaller and smaller. This is only a 4-fret difference, but on the ukulele, this same distance of about 4 inches can cover 7 frets on the tenor ukulele and 8 frets on a soprano ukulele. Another consideration for neck size and spacing between the frets is that, contrary to one might think, it's actually easier to fret strings the wider they're spaced apart from each other. As a grown man, soprano ukuleles are actually a lot more difficult for me to fret than, say, a tenor ukulele or the 5-string banjo. In terms of construction, the main difference between the banjo and the ukulele, other than size and weight, is in the body of the instrument. Whereas the ukulele's body is a solid wood construction with a sound hole, the banjo is more like a snare drum. The pot contains the head, tension hoop and brackets, rim, tone ring, resonator, bridge, armrest, and tailpiece. The standard strings between the two instruments are different as well. Whereas ukuleles typically come with nylon strings, banjos come in steel strings. In relation to the ukulele's bass string of C4, the 5-string banjo's bass string is D3, which is almost a full octave lower. Both instruments come in what's called reentrant tuning. The top string is typically tuned to a high G, with the next string on either instrument as the bass string. Its open strings are tuned to the key of G major, with 2 strings octaves of each other. DE3, G3, B3, D4, and G4. The 1st and the 4th strings are octaves, and the 3rd and 5th strings are octaves. Banjos are a timbre unto themselves. No other instrument sounds like a banjo. I describe the banjo sound as being boingy, plinky, or plunky, depending on its setup. They also possess a powerful sound, increased even more when a resonator is employed, such as this one on the back. Ukuleles will not be able to compare to the sound output of a 5-string resonator banjo without a pickup. There are two main styles for the 5-string banjo, which can also be used to play the ukulele. In the fingerstyle method, or more commonly referred to as Scruggs or 3-finger picking, banjoists utilize finger picks on steel strings to achieve a boingy or plunky sound so prized in bluegrass music. In the clawhammer method, a down-up motion is used similar to strumming, but only the downstroke is used to play the instrument. The downstroke can either strum or pick a melody note with either the index or middle fingertip, typically. And the top string is picked with the thumb at the end of the stroke for a drone note. Whoa, Banjo Dan, that was a lot of information. Can you give me a recap of how the ukulele and the 5-string banjo are similar? I sure can. They're both stringed instruments with similar construction: peghead, neck, body, bridge, strings. They're both fun to say: ukulele, or ukulele as the Hawaiian folks say it. And then also banjo, or banger as the Appalachian folks pronounce it. One can play a wide variety of music on either of them, and the type of music being played will sound great to those who think that it sounds great too. Because the high G ukulele and the 5-string banjo are both in reentrant tuning, one can play the clawhammer style as well as fingerstyle roll patterns. Banjo Dan, it doesn't seem like the two instruments are all that different after all. Maybe you can just keep your channel name the same and we'll just know that it's all eclectic. Great idea, valued viewer. I think that's just what I'll do. Here are a couple snippets of the same song being played on either the ukulele or the 5-string banjo for sound comparison. That's it from me. We'll see you next time at the Eclectic Banjo.